Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is The Daily Show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. A veritable spaghetti burrito of news for you guys this morning, including a brand new teaser. Quentin Tarantino may have a huge star in his next movie. And of course, now we get to figure out what men want, other than spaghetti burritos. Who's joining me, Ashley?
Also, here's Jon Schnepp.
What's up, everybody? I can't wait to talk about The Disaster Artist, but I'm under embargo. No, I'm not.
No, you're
talk
not.
about it.
You're
Oh, good. That's awesome. Go see it.
Kristian Harloff, is that your apple? Why do you have an apple with you?
Oh, it's not a stinky bagel.
Oh, okay, that's
but
good.
But the good news, well, not the good news. I'm very confused. You ever see The Last Unicorn?
I've never seen it.
You should see. You'd love it. I always thought it was, has anybody here seen Nelly?
Yeah.
It's, has anyone here seen Kelly?
Is that the name of the last unicorn? Is Kelly?
No, it's just this crazy butterfly who sings a weird tune. Hashtag stinky bagel.
That's why you have him on the show, ladies and gentlemen. He gets right to the hard-hitting movie news of the day. Even before we get to that rundown, we have some very exciting news to report, and it involves the sexiest man alive from 2010. So, Ashley, by my math, that means that Blake Shelton is going to be playing Deadpool in the year 2024. Before we get to that, perfect. Ryan Reynolds still gets another go-around.
Come on, Ashley.
He does, but I don't have a rundown.
Well, it doesn't matter because we're just going to gush about this new teaser that we just received a couple hours ago where we saw Deadpool dressed as the legendary painter Bob Ross doing his version of the TV show. Very dirty, very adult-friendly, lots of drug and sex references. And then we also got treated to the first footage from Deadpool 2. So, Ashley, you and I got to enjoy this thing this morning at the pre-production meeting. What did you think about the first look at Deadpool 2 and then also the Bob Ross spoof?
I thought it was hilarious. It was almost dirtier than what I remembered Deadpool to be, which is just absolutely shocking. I kept thinking, is this real? Is this real? He's making so many dirty jokes, which of course I love. I thought it was hilarious, and I'm even more excited for this movie now.
Yeah, it was almost like they took the R rating that they had on the first one and they ran with it. They pushed it even a further step. I thought that the Bob Ross thing was funny, and I was waiting for it to get old, and it never got old because he's just so funny as Bob Ross and just as Deadpool in general. And then we get to see some quick images of what's going to happen, all the action that's going to be going on in Deadpool 2, some of our favorite characters from the first Deadpool, and then we see a hand. It ain't Luke Skywalker's hand. That is the hand of Cable, and that is according to the sweaty Jon Schnepp. Did you enjoy this teaser as much as I did?
I did. Well, I watched it with you. I was laughing the whole time. I mean, making fun of Bob Ross is just fun because it's soothing. Everybody loves Bob Ross, but we're like, still making little trees. Now we're making trees. Everybody could do it. But Ryan Reynolds just does it, I think, the best I've ever seen. Like, turning every single phrase into something dirty, naming all the paints something crazy and dirty. Men in Black, just every single paint. Like, you just enjoy just the text that's going on underneath while he's talking about don't eat the trees. So I could watch an entire episode of Deadpool Bob Ross. I hope that's on the Blu-ray DVD special. And the 5 seconds of quick 3-frame flashes that we saw of Deadpool 2 just whetted my appetite. I cannot wait to see this movie. So yeah, I loved it.
You say the word wet and it means something very different if you watch the Deadpool 2 teaser. Right. Kristian, I think you finally got through it. I know you might have had some trouble watching the Deadpool 2 teaser this morning with the tykes around.
Well, no, it was funny because I was like, well, it didn't say red band. I didn't think it did anyway. And so I started watching it. I was like, oh, he's just doing the Bob Ross thing. Like, that's great. And then he goes, I love cocaine. And I was like, okay, she didn't hear that. Shouldn't hear that. And then he throws the F-bomb, and I'm like, all right, we'll watch it later. But I did watch it. I just want to know, this is what I love about Deadpool in the marketing the first time is it's the initial pitches of how do they come up with that? They're sitting around going, wait, we got to do something bizarre. And then Bob Ross is thrown out.
Right.
There. I mean, that's like Bob. The last time I saw someone dressed up as Bob Ross was Finstock when he did it for JT, the trial of JT. But that was the last time I've seen that. I love that happened. I love that they did that. And I love that they kept the theme all the way through. And then I also, of course, those images at the end didn't give anything away. Just threw you back to that tone and said, get ready for it. And it's basically what they told you right off the bat was we're going to have the same kind of marketing campaign times 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get that painting at the end that I really like the family portrait where you see Cable in there, you see the cabbie, you see the old lady from the first movie, T.J. Miller in there, very excited for him. And I really loved the end credits because they had all these random names thrown in there.
Yeah.
My favorite random name in the credits was, for security, it said Dalton, which is like Patrick Swayze's character in Roadhouse.
I love the boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah. I love Chim Cham. So that's one of my
a lot of good ones.
The Deadpool 2 teaser, the movie comes out next year, and if this teaser is any indication, we're going to have a pretty similar marketing campaign to the first one, and that is very good news to my ears. Let's move on to our first official topic, where I do believe there's some words on paper.
There are.
What would that be?
Thanks to a report from the playlist, it looks as though Rotten Tomatoes won't be unveiling their score for Justice League until Thursday at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, nearly a full day after reviews go online. The reason actually comes as part of a promotion for a new See It, Skip It show on Facebook, in which Rotten Tomatoes will officially unveil the score for new releases. Though many have taken online to say there's a massive conspiracy afoot with WB trying to delay the score until the movie drops for Thursday night showings, it's likely this is simply a promotion for the Rotten Tomatoes original series, as no doubt plenty of fans will be tuning in to see It, Skip It to check out the score reveal for Justice League. Mark, thoughts on Rotten Tomatoes delaying the score for Justice League?
Those bastards, how can they hold us back from what we want to know about Justice League? Guys, this is actually why they're doing it, is to promote the new See It, Skip It show, which is a show that I have a lot of friends over Rotten Tomatoes. I've met with them, and the two hosts of See It, Skip It are buddies of mine, Jacqueline Coley and Shagun Adululowu. They're hosting it tonight, and the reason why they're doing this show, I think that even in the iterations of this, and I know this from talking to some people over at Rotten Tomatoes, is that they wanted to have a show where they cleverly reveal the Tomatometer, because obviously it's going to get a lot of people watching it, not just for Justice League, because they've had this show in the works for a while. And when they told me about this concept a couple months ago, they mentioned that this is something that they want to do every week. So this is not specific to just Justice League, although I know that there's always going to be fans that are saying, well, because we knew what the Tomatometer was for Batman v Superman, and maybe that turned some fans up, maybe that galvanized a hardcore fan base. Maybe that just is a tertiary product of this, but the reason why they want to do it on this show is because it helps promote the show, and it has less to do with Justice League. But Kristian, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this program now because we get to see what the Tomatometer is. I'm very curious.
Maybe so, but I think it's a terrible idea. I think it was a terrible idea for them to do this because I think you're putting too much pressure on the hosts. I think that what you have to do there, because I know both of the hosts and I've seen their work, and they're very talented and they're really good. But what you're doing now is this has to be the best show that you have ever produced. I mean, you cannot fail in this first show because all these eyes are going to be coming after you for Justice League to find out that score. They have to be the funniest that they've ever been. They have to be on point. They have to make the audience fall in love with them, because the audience is going, in general, if you review Justice League and say one bad thing about it, even if you loved it and you say one bad thing, they eat you alive. The fact that you're holding this score back, this is a volatile community that you're dealing with here. So I think it was unfair to the host to do it for this movie first. I understand the move. I understand why they're trying to do it, but I think it is a terrible move for them to do on their first show.
Well, they've done iterations of the show before.
No. I'm talking about holding the score. I'm saying holding the score and then waiting for Justice League being the one, because
well, yeah, but it's not like they haven't been on camera. I mean, it would be like if we got to reveal it on Movie Talk. I don't think I'd be that nervous if we got to, because I've done Movie Talk before. So if we had a tomato score.
But my point is that not a lot of people know about the show, and now to your point, they will know about it more so now because of this review. But you're putting a lot of pressure on the host. I think I understand the move, but I think it's a terrible move.
I think they're great hosts, and I know Kristian's not speaking to.
I think they're great hosts,
but I know them, and I know they've worked in this industry for a long time. So if you get this piece of information, I think if anything, it gets you excited as a host to be like, yeah, we're going to do a great show. And
sure, that's what I'm saying.
And it's not like they're taping the show today,
right?
So it's not like the show is live. So if something did happen or they didn't like a line or whatever, you can take it out. I mean, this is like if you gave us Movie Talk or Schmoes to premiere something like that, I think if anything,
I don't know if
we
I would
be able to step up and do the best.
I don't know
show.
if I would do it though. I think that particular movie, it is to hold that score back and let it go on that particular show. I just think it's.
Well, I don't think it has less to do with the host and more to do with like taking an aggregate of all these different reviewers which is, and then making a show out of it and then holding that back is the problem I have with it. It should just be like, here's what these 5 people have weighed in on, and then 10 more weigh in, and that changes the score. It shouldn't be like, we'll hold back on our score.
Right.
I think that's messed up.
Yeah,
so personally, I don't care if they have a show or not. I think it's great, and I love Rotten Tomatoes because Rotten Tomatoes wouldn't exist if it wasn't for all of the different critics who make up what the sum total of Rotten Tomatoes is. It's a sum total. It's not its own specific. Well, what did Rotten Tomatoes say? It's like, no, it's what all these different people said. You guys are part of the critics of Rotten Tomatoes. So, like, if you guys did your review yesterday at 11:40 or whatever the embargo lifted last night, you online right now can go and read every single critic who is part of Rotten Tomatoes who has weighed in, and you would be able just by math, but look, you have to know math, add up your own score.
Okay, you already lost me.
No, but well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying it's like waiting for Rotten Tomatoes is goofy in its own way. It's like be lazy and don't figure it out, or go online, read a bunch of other critics.
That's my point. My point is not because, like I said, I know both the hosts. They're very talented. What I'm talking about is that I think it's a kind of a not a great move by Rotten Tomatoes, the company in general, to hold it off. Go, hey, you want to find out what the score is on Justice League? Well, watch it on our show. Of course, the hosts are going to say.
You're telling me you wouldn't do that if they.
You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. What I was going to say now was that, of course, the hosts are going to be like, yeah, we want to take this on. Give it to us because that's big for them. Of course it is. But Rotten Tomatoes as a company shouldn't hold the score because of what everyone is thinking about with Justice League and want to know it. They're just waiting for it.
That was the point. That was the point I was jumping off at. Is that you think if Collider had come up with the Tomatometer, you don't think that that you would want to come up with a way to monetize that or make it a big production as opposed to just having it like leak out slowly and watch it? I think this is a dynamic strategy to say we know that everybody's focused on this number and we're going to release it at this time.
The day before the movie comes out. I don't think that's fair because they released their other numbers way before movies come out, and that could help the movie or hurt the movie. And now they're specifically doing it for one giant
for
release.
every movie going forward.
Oh, is it going to be for every movie going forward?
I think what they want to do with this show is that every week you don't know what the Tomatometer is until you tune into this show.
That's unfair to people. I think that's unfair because then what happens if you don't watch the show, then you have to wait until like the day it comes out because you didn't get a chance to watch the show. Or you're holding people hostage to watch your show.
Yes and no, but or you can actually be proactive and go and read your own critics. Like you find out, like when I used to be in Chicago, I read Roger Ebert. So I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have your favorite critics that you'll read, and like I'm assuming everyone out there reads or watches different critics' reviews of different things. So you don't necessarily need an aggregate that comes up with a sum number. So I think it's like okay if they do that for every single movie going forward. But now it has to be like for every movie going forward, they can't play favorites.
Yeah, like I said, Ashley, I realize that the optics on this might have a lot of people saying, oh, they're just doing this for Justice League. And I think the point of the show is that they want to make it an event when they announce the score. And I think that's fine because you're not holding people hostage because you're allowed to read reviews. This is not saying that the review embargo is up tonight. The review embargo was up yesterday.
Yeah, you can listen to
anybody,
all that stuff.
All day today, you can go watch a review and you can see how your favorite critics feel about it.
You don't get that collective score. That's why a lot of people go to Rotten Tomatoes. They go to watch the collective score. They don't go. I mean, you can check a couple of your favorite reviews, and of course, like people have already looked at our review. People have watched the Collider review. People have done that for sure, and that's what they're gonna do. Like Jeremy John's review came out, they click on it, they watch it, but then they also want to see what that collective score is going to be. Ours being one of those too. And I think by saying, well, you can find out, but find out on Thursday at 8 p.m. It's like, no, just what is it? It's like,
well, it is their company. They can do what they want.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Someone else can come up with their own aggregate show. Mine is blue, rotten, green tomatoes or whatever. Like, mine comes out every day.
Yeah, I think it's a very valuable piece of IP that they created. And so if they want to either monetize it or they want to say, hey, we're going to make this into an event, I think all the more power to them because it's a smart marketing strategy. How do you feel about this, Ash?
I think that conversation just got more intense than I thought it was going to be, more controversial than I thought. I think it's honestly, I think it's pretty genius of Rotten Tomatoes to do this because they know that people just go online, type, look at the score, and then that's all there is to it. Why not capitalize on people wanting to see your score? So I think it's a pretty smart move, but I definitely get your point, Kristian. I don't think... What?
It's like Battlefront. Sorry, I didn't cut you off, but like Battlefront did the same thing where they basically said, you can have all these. We're not going to charge you for anything, and then it's like, oh, but you have to do all these different things, or you can pay. It's like you're just give it to us.
Well, look at it this. Yeah, but
you
here's
have
the
to
thing.
wait a day.
As long as
still,
they
you're
do it,
making
no.
people
But
do
as long
stuff.
as if this is from this day forward, I don't have any problem with it.
Sorry.
If they're
No, I get
specific
that.
about individual movies that are
Totally.
withholding information, I think that's kind of
But
lame.
I cut Ashley off. I'm
No, but
sorry.
I just think that people that are planning on seeing this opening week, that this isn't going to change their.
Right, they already bought their
They already
tickets.
bought their tickets. They're going to see it regardless, and you'll be able to see the score if you're going to see it next week anyway. So I don't think it makes that big of a difference.
And you know what's funny is like it's not even going to affect Justice League because most people actually liked it. So it's like
Exactly,
it's not going to get a 13 on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is because they're holding the numbers back. But when that comes out, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be way higher than the Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and if you really want to know what everybody thought about Justice League, you can do your due diligence and go check out all the reviews that are out there already. If you are so reliant on one number to tell you if you should go see a movie or not, then I think that's a fallacy in your judgment anyway. But if you want to wait for that number, then you should probably check out the show. Look, I'm much more upset about the Blake Shelton Sexiest Man Alive. You're telling me that that's the sexiest guy on earth right now?
Well, Gwen Stefani.
Yep, she's happy.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
She's gorgeous.
I'd go Adam Levine. All right, next story.
In a new report from Variety, 3 studios have emerged as the frontrunners to distribute Quentin Tarantino's next movie. The top 3 include Warner Brothers, Sony, and Paramount, with Warner Brothers actually transforming their lot to match the time period using the Warner Brothers logo from 1969 as the marquee outside the studio. Sony also reportedly created a big pitch focused on marketing and domestic. As previously reported, Tarantino is eyeing Margot Robbie for the role of Sharon Tate and is said to have also written roles for Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Deadline is now reporting that Tom Cruise is also on the short list of talent Tarantino has spoken with about one of the 2 lead male roles, though they caution it will come down to scheduling. Schnepp, thoughts on the top 3 studios up for Tarantino's next movie, and do you think Tom Cruise would be a good addition?
I love this. I don't want to see Tom Cruise as Charles Manson. I want to see Brad Pitt play Charles Manson. If you've ever seen 12 Monkeys and you see his crazy performance in 12 Monkeys, you know what I'm doing. I'm really excited about this. I love that the studios are doing all this kind of stuff, like rolling out the deluxe red carpet for Tarantino, because all of his films are great. I just watched Hateful Eight again a couple nights ago. It's such a fantastic film. And that they're transforming. They put all these 60s styled cars, and the waiting room was all modeled with 60s style furniture. They went all out. They're like, look, we're all in. You got that 100 million, son. Here's those gross points off first revenue, son. So those are the things that Tarantino's asking for, which I think is ballsy. He's at that point where why not be gangster? So he's being gangster because he knows that everyone's gonna go see this movie. It doesn't matter what it's called. It doesn't matter if it's about Manson playing music. The whole shit has nothing to do with Sharon Tate. It's just him playing his stupid songs. Everyone's gonna want to see it because Tarantino's writing it because he doesn't mess around. So I love this news, and it kind of makes me feel like old Hollywood, when it's like this is the way things should happen.
Yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers probably does not care what the actual story of this movie is. And from recent reports, it would take place in the late 60s, early 70s, but it might not tie in as directly to Charles Manson or the Manson murders as one might initially suspect. So you're right, Schnepp. This could be about Charles Manson introducing Brian Wilson to a sand guy to put sand in his studio for Pet Sounds for 2 hours, and they would want it. Why? Because you got the name Quentin Tarantino, and you have huge stars, potentially Tom Cruise attached. Kristian, like Schnepp said, they rolled out the red carpet when Tarantino arrived at Warner Brothers. There was a circular entrance in front of the building with cars from the late 60s. They had the Warner Brothers logo from the late 60s. I mean, they went all out to get this movie. Now that you hear Tom Cruise might be involved, was this something you'd show out $100 million for?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because Quentin Tarantino is one of those rare directors that he sells the movie. Like there are a handful of directors that when you hear about their movie coming out, it's an event. Whether it's Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Francis Ford Coppola. People when you hear those names, it's like, okay, I'm gonna see it. I don't care what it's about. And then when you hear that it's like you said with Manson running around with a guitar, and then whether or not Tom Cruise is gonna play Manson or somebody that's associated with him, we don't know. But Tom Cruise in a Tarantino movie is brilliant because the whole point of what he's been able to do with his career lately is he can flip it on its head and flip your perception of him on its head like that. He did it in Tropic Thunder, where you saw that role and you said, well, wait a minute, that was Tom Cruise. You didn't even know it was him at the end. He's able to do that. He went back to action, showed that at his age he was able to do action, and he is able to take risks. Now I missed the other one that he did, but I heard it was really good. The
American Made.
American Made was really good, and he was able to do more stuff there. So I want to see what he's able to do in a Tarantino movie, because I also want to see. It's the one movie where he will have to listen to his, not that he doesn't listen to his directors, but I mean, it's not a Tom Cruise movie. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Every movie he does, it's a Tom Cruise movie. This will be a Tarantino movie.
Except for the
Stanley
Stanley Kubrick and Tom Cruise went at it with Eyes Wide Shut. So it's like, you know, that was my only issue with Tom Cruise. I don't want it to be a combative situation, and especially with the way The Mummy turned out, it like became cruise control, it became an action movie.
He's not going to get that with Tarantino, though.
No, I know, and I don't want him to. I feel like it's got to be, you know, like you're doing a Tarantino movie, you're like, that's what you're doing. It's not like he's not doing a Tom Cruise movie, and that has to be laid out.
But I wonder if this is maybe hinting at the future decision making of Tom Cruise, is that he might want to step away from doing as much action. I mean, look, the guy's coming off The Mummy, where it wasn't well received. His performance felt out of place to a lot of critics. Mission Impossible was great, and then he suffered a very serious injury doing a stunt on the most recent Mission Impossible movie. So this could be him transitioning slowly out of the action game and saying, I'm going to take on more meaty roles that have more of a deeper emotional conflict within them, and maybe more Oscar statues in the future.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, good points all. Ashley, you like Tom Cruise in the Manson movie?
You know, well, first of all, when I read this story, I was kind of a little bit bummed out that, because I love true crime so much, and to hear that this isn't actually going to be about the Manson family murders, I'm like, well, now what's it going to be about? The year 1969? All right, cool. But I guess, you know, talking to great talent, obviously Tom Cruise, he kind of annoys me sometimes, because he just acts like, oh, I'm Tom Cruise, I'm Tom Cruise, but I actually did like American Made. So maybe he is branching out and being a little bit more, you know, on the DL. And I think Jennifer Lawrence was actually even in talks at one point. So, you know, when you have top-notch talent with a great director, it's going to be fabulous regardless.
I just got to add, a lot of things happened in 1969.
Oh,
so it's a big year.
Okay.
So.
Big year.
I just wanted to see some murder. You know what I mean?
I know. You're murder obsessed, but you know, there's other things on the planet. It's like besides the Manson murdering people.
There's plenty of true crime podcasts to get you through your days. Tarantino's a guy that could take any time period, any premise, and I think weave a nice tapestry. He may not be named Rumpelstiltskin, but he could turn that straw into gold. We got one more story, and is this going to be gold or?
Well, we're going into buy or sell now.
Well, then let's buy or sell with gold coins.
Yeah, in a report from the Wall Street Journal, Illumination Entertainment is nearing an agreement with Nintendo to make an animated Super Mario Brothers movie based on the iconic video game.
That's where the gold coin joke came
Exactly,
from.
exactly. Illumination is owned by Chris Meledandri and Universal Studios and has produced the Despicable Me and Secret Life of Pets franchises. Illumination's MacGuff studio in Paris is currently in the early stages of development, with a release date yet to be determined. Kristian, buy or sell an animated movie based on Super Mario Brothers?
I am very tentatively buying this because I want to see, because ever since that 1993 crap pile on ice, regardless of what Late to the Party says, it is a garbage film, and it is it almost ruined Super Mario Brothers because they didn't want to ever they didn't want anyone else to ever touch them.
Almost ruined Nintendo.
It almost ruined Bob Hoskins' career and Dennis Hopper.
Nintendo it said no, no one's ever doing a movie ever again because that movie was so bad. But the reason I buy it is because I think in animation form is where it should live and what they should do. The reason I tentatively buy it is because I thought Secret Life of Pets was a big misfire. Yep. I thought that the beginning of it, I thought they sold it to you as this is going to be Toy Story with dogs, and it became that for about 10 minutes. And then it just became this silly crime movie with
dogs driving cars. I hated that movie.
It was bad. It was really bad. And so what I get worried about is the same thing that they're going to do is that they, instead of saying what they should just do with this movie is make it based on the game. Like he's got to rescue the princess. He's got to go through these moments. Make it a fantasy movie inside of this Illumination studio, and don't put it on Earth with with humans and running around and then this other stupid adventure. Just keep it true to the game, and then I'll buy it once I see the trailer. But I like the idea that they're going to do it.
Yeah, Schnepp, you almost worry about them staying true to the game or games because there's so much mythology to mine from all of the Mario creations that have happened since when we first got to see it here in America in 1985. I mean, that was just a simple story of a plumber and sometimes his brother, if the first plumber died, going to rescue a princess. And now you have all these different cast of characters and vehicles and a useless dinosaur named Yoshi that does not belong in this movie at all. How do you feel about the Super Mario Brothers? Has your opinion changed since we heard about it yesterday?
That's right, Donkey Kong, son. Where's Donkey Kong? That's the
Wreck-It
original.
Ralph.
Yeah,
Gotta be in it.
That Donkey Kong's gotta be in it, or that's the only reason I'm gonna buy it. If Donkey Kong, they have to have the origin of Mario, not Mario Brothers. Mario, the plumber, saving the princess from Donkey Kong. So I would love to see that part of the mythology built in. And then you've got to buy from me.
Yeah,
and
I
think Kristian's right. Doing a CG version makes the most sense. I'd like to see. There, look at that
you were
sweat.
taking off your sweater with it.
No, it's too cold in the studio to show Mario.
It's a buy for me. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it yesterday. We were talking about like making a live action, marathon of all the Stinko movies, Double Dragon, Street Fighter.
I think it's gonna make a boatload of money. I think that Mario is cross-generational. There's a lot of different people that have a huge affinity for Mario, despite what we saw with the 1993 movie. And the way to do it would be animated. It could compete with Mortal Kombat, Ashley, for the greatest video game movie of all time.
It's a tough thing to follow, but I would love for this to work. Like, I would love for this to work. I think that Super Mario Brothers is the franchise that everybody knows, and it could really turn around video game movies. And I mean, I love Illumination. Minions hold a special place in my heart. So here we go.
Yeah, I will say, how dare you on Yoshi? Yoshi needs to be in this movie. Yoshi, especially in an animated film, to have Yoshi in this.
Yeah.
Yoshi's gonna be like the comic relief of like the. Yoshi's awesome. How
Back
dare
in
you,
my
sir?
day, we didn't need dinosaurs to help us rescue princesses. We had ourselves, we had our wits, we occasionally had fireballs shooting from our crotches, and that's all we needed.
You gotta get that checked.
Yeah, I mean, it's still hurts a little bit down there.
Yeah.
Will Mario get to the castle? Find out thanks to Illumination. And our next story shall be.
In a recent appearance on CBS Sunday Morning, original Halloween creator John Carpenter revealed that Blumhouse's new Halloween movie would ignore all the sequels, but declined to reveal much else. We now have a bit more clarity, courtesy of co-writer Danny McBride. In an interview with Yahoo, McBride definitively revealed the time frame we'll see the upcoming horror redo, saying, "We're kind of ignoring all the films past the first one. It picks up after the first one, but it's sort of an alternate reality. It's as if the first Halloween ended in a slightly different way. Mark, buy or sell the new Halloween movie, ignoring all the sequels in a sort of alternate reality?"
No, you totally buy it. I don't need any other Halloween movies. I like Halloween 2, and there's a couple other ones that, there's a lot of Season of the Witch fans out there. But if you're ending it this one, I mean, the only thing that really set my radar up was, okay, so we're ending it in a slightly different way than the original Halloween ends. I want to figure all that out because I don't think you mess with the first one. And I don't think that's Danny McBride's or anybody else's on this new movie's intention, especially with John Carpenter being involved somewhat. So I like what I'm hearing. I like that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be coming back. So everything I'm hearing about this Halloween movie is a buy for me so far. How about you, Schnepp?
Yeah, I'd buy it. I mean, mainly because of Danny McBride, and just finished watching Vice Principals season 2. I mean, the team that's behind this, look, they've done comedy so well. Comedy and tragedy, horror go hand in hand. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in the alternate version universe of Michael Myers. So, yeah, everything he said, I'm in.
Kristian, you in?
Yeah, big buy. I think this is a very smart move. There's been 733 of Halloweens, and we don't need any more to keep continuing on. Like 8, 9, Michael Myers in space, Michael Myers in a volcano. You don't need it anymore. If you want it, if you go back and you say, well, we're going to retcon pretty much everything, and we're going to say it's very similar to kind of what Logan did. If you think about it, Logan is this side adventure to where it could tie into all the other X-Men movies you've seen, but if they decide to do another one in that particular timeline, then maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that because I think that the first Halloween is arguably one of the best horror movies of all time. If you continue right where you left off, and then Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she died in like the 7th one or the 12th one, whatever it was.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry about it. So, but now that she's back alive and they pick up after it took off and they have a good story, yeah, this is a very smart way to do it. Big buy.
Okay, well, the next story is going to help all you ladies out there get inside our male noggins.
Deadline reports that Paramount Players has signed Empire's Taraji P. Henson to star in What Men Want, a comedy remake inspired by the 2000 hit romantic comedy What Women Want. The new version follows a female sports agent who has been constantly boxed out by her male colleagues. When she gains the power to hear men's thoughts, she is able to take advantage of the gift and races to sign the NBA's next superstar. The studio is fast-tracking the film and is set for release on January 11, 2019. Kristian, buy or sell What Men Want with Taraji P. Henson?
I'm gonna buy the What Men Want. I'm gonna sell Taraji P. Henson as the lead. I would have rather seen who was Tiffany Haddish?
Oh my God, she
I would
would have
have
been fantastic.
I would have rather seen Tiffany Haddish. I'm not a big. I don't love Taraji P. Henson. I think that she sometimes. There's just something about her. I don't know. But I think that I would have much rather seen Haddish do this role. But I do like the idea of the remake. On the other side, I think it's smart. I think it could be really funny. And I want to see what they come up with. So I'm not just going to say sell. I'm not going to see it because she's in it. I do think she's a talented actress. But there's something. I just don't. I'm not as big of a fan as everybody else is.
I'm a pretty big fan of Henson. I think I'll buy this. Here's my issue with it. It's not the star of the movie. It's just that the premise, like, when What Women Want came out, I'm not a woman, so I don't know what's going on in their head, so I can kind of give them the credibility of like, oh, well, okay, maybe they're thinking on a higher plane than all the crap that's going on through our heads, but I know what happens inside this, and it shouldn't never get out. Like, it's like, I don't know how I can sit there and watch and see all these guys on screen and be like, I know what you're really. This is not what they're. I'm going to be leaning next and be like, this is not what they're really.
I think
unless they do it.
I'm buying.
There's no way they can do. There's no way.
Yeah,
they
there
can do
is.
it.
I'm buying it because that's what they're doing. If they don't do it, like
They gotta go
every
all out,
guy's
yeah.
a dirty dog and
Spaghetti burrito,
messed
spaghetti
up,
burrito,
weird,
spaghetti burrito.
crazy brained, freaked out. I mean, come on. That's what we. If they're really going to go there, then they really got to go there. It doesn't even matter to me who is the female star right now. I mean, you're right. I think Tiffany Haddish would have been a lot better, but the premise is what matters, and the way it's written is what matters. You get a good actress. I think she's a good actress.
She's a great actress.
You know, that's what I mean. It's like Mel Gibson didn't really matter in that movie. It mattered how it was played out, and you know. So I mean, I feel like the script is the most important thing, and they've got to be harsh. It's got to get, it's got to get doggy.
Ashley Henson was great. So we just built a bridge over that.
Yep.
She was great in Hidden Figures. Do you think that she's the right star for this vehicle, or do you think that regardless of who's starring it, this thing's going off
Now
course?
that Kristian mentioned Tiffany Haddish, I didn't even think of that. I would have loved that, but I'm
She
excited.
could still be in the movie.
Yeah, she could. Yeah. I'm really excited for this movie regardless, though, because it's been a while since we saw a good romantic comedy, and I really hope that this brings back rom-coms because I love rom-coms.
Well, hopefully we get rom-coms back in full force.
That's not going to happen.
It's not.
Not with your
I'm
inside men's
sad about
minds.
it.
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry to crush your dreams, Ashley, but that's not going to happen.
I love jokes like that, though.
There's nothing
It's romantic
romantic
in
about what
my
goes
mind.
on.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no romance whatsoever.
Spaghetti burritos.
No, it's just an overall keep playing of Super Bowls that Redskins were in.
Oh, God.
That would be a great movie. And it'd be
and Van
accurate,
Halen's
too.
playing the whole time.
Just the Tetris music on
Right.
B-type. We are going to move on to mailbag, and we're going to save some time to the end of the show for your live Twitter questions. So go ahead and start tweeting us right now at Collider Video. In the meantime, I want to remind everybody we have a very special screening coming up. Thanks to our folks here at Collider Video on November 29th. At 7 p.m. in Los Angeles, Collider is hosting a Thor Ragnarok screening. Our own Frosty, Stephen Weintraub, will be moderating it. You're going to have an extended Q&A with director Taika Waititi. You can enter to win right now on Collider.com. Again, the screening actually takes place in November, on November 29th in Los Angeles, 7 p.m. So if you're going to be in the Southern California area on November 29th, definitely head to Collider.com right now and see how you can enter to win that contest. Should be a lot of fun. The Justice League non-spoiler review is up both on Collider Video and on Schmo's No YouTube channels right now, so make sure you subscribe. You can check out that before the Rotten Tomato score comes out tonight. There's an all-new Heroes. It's going to be up later on the channel, hosted by that sweaty nerd, Mr. Jon Schnepp, and an all-new Schmodown between Team Action and Above the Line dropped yesterday. You do not want to miss that match. With all that being said, we'll move on to mailbag. You guys can email us anytime, collidervideo@gmail.com, and occasionally it's going to get read on the air. We'll even include your name in there.
Yeah, Justin writes, hey crew, had an idea based on the new Last Jedi IMAX poster that dropped recently. I think it looks amazing, but is it the best Star Wars poster? It certainly makes the case for being one of the best, but I would love to hear what the panel thinks is the best Star Wars poster release of all time. Yes, including prequels, lol, thanks.
It's a great question, Justin. One of my favorite Star Wars posters of all time is a prequel. It's The Phantom Menace. It's the one with young Anakin standing there in Tatooine with the background, and then you see a shadow of Darth Vader over him. I think it was just very artistic, very well done, simplistic. My favorite Star Wars poster of all time, I love Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, is the simple Return of the Jedi poster with the hands just holding the lightsaber. All you see is the lightsaber going up. It's just, sometimes simplicity works, but I do enjoy these character posters where they throw a lot against the wall. Kristian, I'm intrigued by this IMAX poster because we see Kylo Ren, but it's also, there's Ben in there, and then he's holding the Kylo Ren mask. Why would he be holding his mask? Is this some sort of graduation from the mask, or is this just having more appendages of him in the poster?
No, we've seen it in the trailer. He gets rid of the mask. I mean, he there's something that he wants. I think that the mask is going to signify something like to where he. I feel that when we see him the first time in Force Awakens, and he's pretending to be Vader, and then even Rey says to him, "You have this fear that you're not going to live up to what Vader was." I think he's starting to get rid of that, and he's starting to become his own person. So that's why he smashes that particular helmet. But I love this poster. I do. My favorite is New Hope. I mean, New Hope is that original Struzan poster that can't. It was Struzan, right?
Which one? Are you talking about the 1977 one with him on the rock?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't Struzan.
It wasn't Struzan.
No, it was Hildebrand. Greg Hildebrand.
So
Bob Ross.
That was the one. It wasn't Bob Ross, but that was the one. That's my favorite. That goes back to everything that George Lucas envisioned of what this thing was supposed to be. This old school kind of serialized space opera, and it still signifies exactly what Star Wars is today.
Jon Schnepp, you dig this poster and your all-time favorite?
I like this poster. We had talked a little bit about them, Rey wearing a red cape, but I guess a lot of people wear red capes in Star Wars, but I don't know if that means anything, if she's like going to go Sith or whatever, but I think it's okay. My favorite all-time posters, both versions of the original Empire Strikes Back, the Gone with the Wind version, where you see Darth Vader in the background, you see a Tauntaun, you see Han and Leia, and C-3PO and R2-D2. And then there is, I believe it's a Polish version that then was used here, where it's Darth Vader like standing over all of these AT-ATs, and it's just this epic kind of. As a kid, it just made me, because I loved Star Wars, and then the idea that they're making another one was the most exciting thing to me, because you didn't know what it was going to be and where they're going to go. So I remember seeing those images, and just all of my synapses were firing, like, oh, they're on an ice planet and all this other stuff. So to me, when I see those two posters, it brings back that childlike wonder. So
yeah, so Ashley, you have Kylo Ren ditching the mask. You have Rey, for whatever reason, wearing a red cape. Anything stand out to you in particular about this new IMAX?
Oh my gosh, this poster is... I love this poster so much. I think it just might be my favorite colors together are red, black, gray. It looks so sick, and it reminds me of that shot that we saw in the trailer of the Red Room. I love this poster.
Yeah, red's a fine color. Just as long as when you ignite a lightsaber, as long as your saber, as long as your kyber crystal doesn't turn the thing red, as long as your stream isn't red, kids at home, you're going to be fine. Okay? Good.
Okay.
Let's move on to live Twitter questions.
All right. Okay. These violent delights have violent ends. Wow, that is a dramatic Twitter name.
That's a handle?
That is their whole handle. No, that's their name. That is their entire name. And they write, what are your thoughts on Universal pushing Get Out for the Golden Globes as a comedy?
I love it because I think it gives it a better shot to be recognized, which is ultimately what the Golden Globes are about. And Get Out may not be considered a strict comedy, but I think it's a horror comedy. That's how I would classify it. And it certainly has a lot more laughs in it than a movie like Jon Schnepp's favorite yuck fest of a couple of years ago, The Martian. You like this move?
I hate this move. Absolutely. I think it's one of the stupidest. It's just like The Martian. It's like, Get Out is not a comedy. I know you just said you think it is, but it's not.
It's fine. We can
There's
disagree.
funny moments in it. I know. I will argue with Mark after the show about this for at least 5 minutes. It's not a comedy. It's a horror movie with certain elements that are funny. That's it. I mean, if you laugh throughout the entire movie, good for you. Maybe it's a comedy for you, but it's not classified as a comedy in any way, shape, or form. This is so stupid. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
It's a horror. I mean, I would say horror comedy. There's a lot of satire.
Wait a minute.
There.
I think it's a musical.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Do you think that there's an element to this decision, Kristian, was because of who the director, Jordan Peele, was, coming from a comedic background? Or do you think this is just a better way for the studio to get it more recognition?
All the above. I think that, yeah, for the director for sure and Peele, but I also think that, and even the guy who played his best friend, there's all of his bits were comedy.
He was funny, but that's it.
Let me finish my
All right,
point,
go
good
ahead.
man. You're
Kristian
Bob
is
Ross.
Not getting his voice out on
No,
this
you guys
show.
are cutting me off like I'm.
Well, in fairness, you do get an hour to talk in traffic on Facebook every morning.
Oh, well, eat a bagel. That's disgusting.
Did you literally yell about getting cut off and then take a huge bite of your apple?
did.
I did.
What
I figured.
a smarmy professor move to do.
I figure if you guys are going to let me talk and you keep going over the same points, I might as well, chew on an apple and
Hang on
spit
a
it out at the same
second.
time.
Hang on.
All right, so
Hang on a second. Up. Mark, what you were about to say. Kristen, take
please,
another bite
guys,
of that
we're running
apple.
short on time. Let's
Hang
let
on a
Kristian,
second.
Let's let Kristian get his point.
Oh my
yeah, go ahead.
gosh.
No, go ahead. Have
I
a
can't now. I
chew.
chewed on the apple.
Have
Go
a
finish.
There's nothing to say. Nothing to add.
Asshole.
Do you have anything you want to say about Get Out?
Forget it. All right. So
Matt, my only point on this is that
Yeah.
Jordan Peele is
Right.
known as a director.
He's very
so
funny.
The Oscars get 10 movies to nominate, so if you get more recognition at other award shows, it could be more of a contender for Best Picture at the Oscars.
Mark. I want to hear what Kristen was going to say. It's so rude that you cut him
dang
off.
it. Well, it's not a comedy. But there are comedic moments for sure. It's a Twilight Zone episode. It is an overall Twilight episode. It is haunting at points. It is a satire for sure, but it's not a comedy. I mean, there are funny moments the same way there are a lot of. I mean, would you call Scream a comedy?
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's a horror comedy.
Scream's not
Nope.
a comedy.
It's a horror comedy.
No.
They satirize a lot of the horror genre with some comedic moments, and there's some funny stuff happening in it, but it's not a comedy. So I don't think this is a comedy either. It's more of a dramedy, if anything, drama with some comedic moments. But I recognize this move. I would understand and say, okay, I can see why they would do this way more than The Martian.
Okay, Ashley, if you are working at a video store,
What section would I put
Yeah.
this in?
I don't peel apples.
I don't know what section I would put this in, but aren't you guys happy that it's actually getting recognition though? Like regardless of what it's being nominated for.
It'll be recognized at the Oscars this year.
I
I'm
think
really
that's the big
excited
win.
for that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like regardless of what it's being nominated for, I'm just excited that it's
I'm
being
not
nominated.
because I think it's shortchanging the movie. It's shortchanging the director. It's shortchanging the vision of the film by calling it an effing comedy. It's not a comedy. It's not a musical either. They should have just called it a musical because these award shows are so stupid. They're worthless, and that's what they're proving to me. They're idiots.
I think the Golden Globes, yes, I would agree with you.
It's moronic.
I think we take all these things too seriously. I think we take tomato scores too seriously, but at least one of us is getting all their fruit in. Let's do one more and then call it a day.
One more. Okay. Alan Reed writes, if you could take a movie character to dinner, who would you pick and why?
Oh, this
Tonya
is
Harding.
Michael Myers.
Okay, explain your rationale, both you gentlemen.
Margot Robbie plays Tonya Harding.
Yeah. And,
You said Tonya Harding.
The character.
and Michael Myers is the original William Shatner mask. So
Yeah,
then
I didn't say
feel
Lorena
like
Bobbitt. I said Tonya Harding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not getting Margot Robbie, the actress. You're getting her playing this crazy trailer trash human being.
Yeah, but she eats.
Ashley, you have anybody you would actually like to take to dinner? Not named Blake Shelton?
The Joker.
I got, there it is, the Joker, just because he's so hot.
There you go.
Oh,
You're on your own here, sane man. That's
I am taking Jessica Lange from 1976 King Kong to a nice meal. I think that she's been through a lot. She was stranded on Skull Island for a long time. It was just her and a giant ape. Now, look, if I have to follow you having some sort of relationship with a giant prehistoric like ape, I think I can do that okay. I
Yeah.
can be a comforting force. I think I'm really good at being a nice ear to listen to people's problems. She just had this boyfriend slash pet fall from the Empire State Building. She's going to be broken up about that. Yeah. We can share memories of pets that we've lost in the past. Then we can bond and forge a meal and hopefully enjoy our spaghetti burrito together.
I'd go with Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman.
He's taking it. You're taking it back?
Fortunately, you already took Tonya Harding.
Yeah.
So you
No take-backs.
should take with Michael Myers
Yeah. Hell yeah.
because he's a cheap date. He's not going to eat anything.
He doesn't talk. He's just he has to take the mask off, and I get to watch him
good
eat with
call.
his weird face.
Someone said the Terminator. It's a great idea. You just sit him by your You just sit them right by your meal so no one bothers you. Or even the robot from Rocky IV.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could go with like a really rich person, like Michael Douglas as Gordon Gekko, because he's paying for the meal. There's no way that ego is gonna let you pay for the meal. So
Ooh, Tony Stark.
yeah,
He's
he's
gonna pay
gonna-
for the restaurant.
Yeah.
By the whole restaurant.
Like
That's
it. All right.
Okay, all right. I might talk to Bruce Wayne too, because like if I was there next to Bruce Wayne, all I would do is pepper him with questions about this giant bat running around and just see how
Which
pissed
Bruce
off he
Wayne?
gets.
George Clooney?
No, not Clooney. I'd probably go Christian
Adam
Bale's
West?
Batman.
No.
I want to see him just like I want to see if he gives me any notes that he is a little upset that I'm making fun of this giant bat that he actually dresses up as, because I know I'm on to you, Wayne.
Yeah.
I'm on to you.
Jack Burton. Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that would be good.
That'd be fun.
All right. Well, you guys have fun.
Hey, hang on, I'm changing mine. Snake Plissken.
Oh, there you go. See?
Okay.
But we have to be seated next to each
Rocket
other.
Raccoon. That'd be a good one.
He's gonna eat a lot.
Yeah, well, I have him fight the other raccoons on my balcony.
He's gonna.
He'd win.
He would win.
He would
That's
win.
why I want
Because
to.
Is Bradley
he's
Cooper there
weaponized.
voicing him?
It's a character, Mova. Stay in character. Don't break
it's-
kayfabe.
All right. Fair enough.
It'd be really weird with Bradley Cooper hiding under the table.
Right.
And this was a really weird end to a very spirited episode of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you guys for joining us, everybody behind the scenes, as well as everybody up here on the table with me. I'd let everybody get your individual plugs in, but your mouths are all full with your various breakfast treats. So for Ashley Mova, Jon Schnepp, and Kristian Harloff, my name is merely Mark Ellis. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Collider Movie Talk.
Ballroom
Hey
Blitz.
everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.